So it's time to talk some ball, some college football playoff ball. I'm Steven, that's Stefan, and that's Andrew. It's time for our game time decisions. This is the thing we think is ultimately going to decide the game. It's a couple of things that are going to decide the game, but one of the things that you're maybe overlooking. Stefan, what's something you're going to be watching on Friday night?
Instead of something, I'm going to say someone. I'm going to say Caleb Downs. I think this is a huge game for him specifically because of just all the different things this Texas offense can do, the way they utilize their tight end, Gunnar Helm, the way they run the ball, everything they do. And that's not even mentioning their receivers. I think we're going to see Jim Knowles, what did he say this year, fully activate?
Yeah.
Caleb Downs, unleash Caleb Downs. I think you're going to see him lined up all over the place just like we have throughout this playoff. I was going through PFF on whatever day it is, Wednesday night, and I was looking at just the different snap counts they've assigned him to, and it's like every linebacker spot imaginable he's like gotten a snap there in this playoff. And it's like, oh yeah, he's a safety, by the way. The way Ohio State can use him, and Jordan Hancock and Lathan Ransom fit into this conversation as well, but I'll focus on Caleb specifically just because the numbers aren't flashy. Like he won those All-American awards, and you'd see a lot of Alabama fans on Twitter being like, what is he winning these for? Like, look at the stats, the tackles are down, all that. Watch the game. Watch the way Ohio State uses him and moves him around. It's so intriguing to watch how Jim Knowles uses Caleb Downs, and I think that's especially important in a game like this. We saw him be a huge factor against Penn State in slowing down Tyler Warren, or at least trying to keep him contained. I think we're going to see something similar to that here against Texas. The way they use Gunnar Helm specifically is going to be huge in how Caleb Downs factors into this game.
Raw stats have never been the way to judge defensive backs, and it will never be the way, the raw counting numbers. Andrew, what do you want to see?
I'm curious what Texas's defensive front is going to look like. A lot of people are going to look at this game and say, well, Jeremiah Smith, obviously you have to talk about Texas's secondary. They have 21 interceptions. They have, they're one of the best teams in the country in terms of turnover differential. Those are all correct. Those are all valid points. But I think you have to marry the front and the secondary in a game like this, and I'm very curious what Texas is going to do, because I stated my case. I stated it to these guys on the pod. I stated it to these guys off the pod. I stated it to other people off the pod. I feel like I'm on an island here. I don't think Texas should blitz Will Howard. I don't think Texas should come after Will Howard. I'm dropping back. I'm bailing. I am making Ohio State run the ball. I am inviting them. I'm writing a personalized letter and saying, run the ball. We're going to drop 7. We're going to drop 8. Jeremiah, double, triple covered. Emeka, double, triple covered. Figure it out. We are going to make Will Howard throw into tight spots, and that, I think, is going to be the thing. Because, hey, look, Jeremiah Smith, he says he's open when everybody's on him, right? Hey, congratulations. Well, you throw that up to Jeremiah 6 times in the game, Jeremiah might come down with 4 of them. But if Texas makes 2 plays in that situation, you don't have to make all the plays. You just make like 1 or 2 plays, all of a sudden the game violently swings because you have a change of possession, you have a turnover, and that is what is going to help Texas win this game. So I am very curious what they do with the line of scrimmage. Do they come after Will Howard? Do they load the box and say, we're going to try to make quick decisions, and we're going to try to get the ball out of his hands? Do they do what I think they should do and bail out and just say, we're going to run 3-4-man fronts and we're going to go light personnel, and we're just going to hand Ohio State the opportunity to run the ball. Keep the ball out of Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka and Carnell Tate's hands. I think that's what Texas might do. So I'm very curious about that front and what they're going to look like.
I want to know who gets the ball first, because Ohio State's outscored its opponents 38-0 in the first quarter, and they've taken the ball first in those first 2 games, and they've put opponents in positions where it's 7-0 when their opponent gets the ball for the first time. That is clearly a pressurized world, whether it was Nico Iamaleava or it was Dylan Gabriel on the neutral side, because you have to score. Because if you don't score, they're going to score. And now it's 14-0. And now it's 21-0. And now it's 17-0. 38-0 in the first quarter. I wonder if Texas takes the ball first and tries to put themselves in a position to score first. And if they don't do that, I want to see what Ohio State's first play is, because against Tennessee, it was a bubble screen. And they built off of that in the Rose Bowl where they still ran the bubble screen, but they also faded G. Scott on the out, and he got a 30-yard completion out of it to start the game. And it kind of got the ball rolling for what ended up being like a 3-play drive, touchdown drive for Jeremiah Smith there. I just want to see how they keep building off of that play. But who gets the ball first? Because Ohio State getting the ball first has told me they're going to go score and put pressure on an opponent, and if that opponent doesn't score, the game's over. So maybe Texas decides to switch some things up here, and if they win the toss, take the ball, put themselves in a position where at worst it's 3-0 when Will Howard takes the field instead of 0-0 with 15 minutes on the clock when he takes the field, because that might decide the game before the game can even get started there. Those are our game time decisions. Go let us know yours, 614-350-3315, 2-week free trial, $3.99. After that, go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts. The Bucks, the Longhorns, in there on Friday night. See you after the game. Steven, Stefan, Andrew.